If you have the O1 visa in the USA, then you can very likely get the UK Global Talent Visa in one of its forms. So essentially, you would have the O1 visa in the US if you are a person of extraordinary ability in one of a number of specified areas, including business, sciences, arts, education, and film. But there's lots of problems that people experience on the O1 visa, including, especially at the moment, the time it takes to get a green card and the time it takes to get citizenship in the US. The situation with the current administration in the US and it's possible that Trump is coming back in, it doesn't look like there's any reasonable hope of things changing in the near future. So the UK, for all of its faults, it does have many benefits in terms of the immigration process on speed. So for the indefinite leave to remain application that you make under the Global Talent Visa, you can get a decision on that expedited in a week, for example. And when it comes to naturalization as a British citizen, that can take a bit longer, but typically my clients get decisions within a month or under a month. So when you apply to naturalize as a citizen in the UK, when you apply to naturalize as a British citizen, it's much faster than naturalizing as a US citizen. And getting a green card versus getting permanent residence in the UK, which we call indefinite leave to remain, it's much, much faster in the UK. I'd be waiting days rather than years in many cases in the US. And I was speaking with someone, in fact, last week, who was saying that on the basis of the current backlogs, he was only likely to get a US passport in 15 years. Now, whether in fact it's that long is to be seen, but there's incredible backlogs and difficulties in that regard. So, how does this work? Well, yeah, I would say with a high degree of confidence, if you have an O1 visa, you're very likely to qualify for one of the global talent visas in the UK. There's not a direct one-to-one correspondence, but it's very close, including in the kind of documents that you provide. So the first area is in business. So I have had clients who've been tech entrepreneurs under the O1 visa for the US, and they've got the Global Talent Visa through an endorsement by Tech Nation, which is the technology body that does the endorsements. I'll just give a quick overview first. Then on the sciences, I've had clients who've come in either through the Royal Society, which is the relevant endorsing body, as scientists, or through the Royal Academy of Engineers, and Royal Academy for Engineering rather, and depending on whether you're pure science or engineering. Sometimes there's a bit of a blurred line between the two. As for the arts, I've had clients who've had the O1 visa as artists in the US, and they've been endorsed through the Arts Council. And through the Arts Council, there's in fact a talent stroke promise split. So either you show you're exceptionally talented, or that you have the potential to achieve that status. And under that so-called exceptional promise route, the threshold is really quite reasonable. I've had a number of successful cases recently for people doing arts or mixed arts, where it crosses over into photography and film. And I spoke in one of my recent videos about a singer who I acted for, who also got through on that route. The next area is education. So for education, I've acted for an academic recently, and I'm acting for another one now, who now for the academics, there's a number of different endorsing bodies you can go for depending on where you fit in. The British Academy has a number of disciplines, but it's not just about these sciences. It could be that you're teaching a humanities or social science, or one of those areas that cross over between the two, but there's a pathway there. And then as for film, some of my clients, particularly the ones on the art side, do film where it may not be. There may be a crossover between art film in terms of art installations and narrative-based film, which I was looking at this morning. But the film route in the UK is more based on awards and distribution of what you've produced. But there's a clear route through there. It's also through the Arts Council, but there's a body that specifically considers film applications. So yeah, so whichever route you've gone in on the O1 visa, you have an option in the UK, and I would be delighted to speak with you if you do have an O1 visa. You'll be one of the elite. So congratulations if you have already got that visa, and the door in the UK is open to you in that respect. Last observation is that procedurally, there's important differences as well, but I perhaps that's a matter for another video. Hope that's helpful. I do have a consultation service. If you want to get in touch with me, feel free to do so. You can just click on the link in the description below. And I also have some checklists that I give the links for in the descriptions for each of these different routes. I've updated them at the end of 2023, and you should find my checklists useful if you want to download them. Thanks. Bye for now.